Hey folks, so welcome to my new project. This is basically a RAG pipeline where you can upload your PDF and then chat with the PDF. Let me walk you through the UI first. Yep. So by default, you will be redirected to the login page and you can choose Google or GitHub. Let us go with GitHub for a moment. And after logging in, you will be redirected to the main dashboard page. This is the main dashboard page. Now I do not have any workflow. Let us create a workflow first and let us name it Yash. And for example, let us see what documents I have in my downloads folder. So for example, I have my resume. Let us upload that resume key bath and let us create a workflow. Workflow is basically a screen where you will have multiple nodes and you can coordinate multiple nodes, connect them together, and then make a workflow. So this will be the by default empty canvas, and you will have user query, knowledge base, LLM, and output nodes. Let me show you all the nodes one by one. So this is the user query node where you can enter your query. For example, I'll say what are his previous projects, and this is a query from my side in the user query node. After this, I'll have knowledge base node and we can select embedding model. By default, I have given one embedding model and two, three LLM models option, but I'll add more as we proceed ahead. Now we have to select LLM model. Let us go with flashlight. And this is the system prompt. We can also configure system prompt and pass any system prompt required by the user. And this is the temperature, the degree of randomness in the response. So this is it. And then we have output node. Output node is the node where output will be streamed. Now we have to connect all these nodes. This is connected, this is connected, and this is connected. If we hit save, please upload a document. Yeah. So here we have to upload the document. For example, I am uploading my PDF only. And yep, after the PDF is uploaded, we can click here and view that we have uploaded the correct PDF or not. Yep, so the PDF is correct. This is my PDF. And now we can hit build. Please save the workflow. Yep, so this is the save button and here's the workflow name and here is the status. The workflow status can be different regarding pending, complete and all those. And one more feature which I would like to include is if we for example change the position of node and hit save, and after saving we reload it, the position of nodes and edges and everything will be saved. So your workflow will be saved in the database. Now when we hit build, what happens is, let me walk you through the backend. The document is cloned into temp docs folder and converted into, firstly it is split. Yeah, firstly we split document, then add it to the ChromaDB. I am using local ChromaDB for now, but we process it to ChromaDB and we then query RAG. Let us, okay, so the status of the workflow is completed and now we can go on to chat screen. Yep, so this is the chat screen. Let it load. Yep, so this is a chat screen and we have the first chat session here. The chat session is the question which we sent earlier, what are his previous projects, and here are my projects listed. uh, what did he do in game dev? If I send this now, what happens in backend is, firstly it queries the ChromaDB instance which we chunked and stored the document in the ChromaDB. It gets top 5 latest context regarding the question I asked using the similarity search. It gets the top 5 context And after it gives the context, it goes to the model we selected, for example Gemini Flashlight, and it asks the question with the context. So here is a system prompt plus context, and then context and query text. Query text is the user question which he asked, and then here is the response, and this response is returned to the front end. In game dev, they have created 2D 3D Flappy Bird clone and all that. Now you can click on new chat screen and create a new chat. Let me walk you through a bigger PDF example. For example, I have this monopoly.pdf, and this is a large PDF. Basically, I downloaded it online, and it is game rules for Monopoly game. Let me upload this, create a new workflow again, Monopoly, and Monopoly here also. Let us create it, and yep, let us create this again. What is this doc about? And then we have to add knowledge base node. In knowledge base node, we'll upload the document and select the embedding model. These embedding models and LLMs and everything is being fetched from the backend. So we just have to include those API keys and all that in backend, and they'll be shown here. Now we have to select LLM model. For example, we select Flash, system prompt, temperature, we can edit it. Let us make it 0.5, and then we have the output node, and we have to connect this also, and then we just have to hit save. And after saving, we can build the workflow build started, and let us get here. Okay, so see, it cloned the document. Firstly, we are uploading the document. I'm using Supabase, and I'm uploading the document to Supabase bucket and storing the public URL in documents table. My backend clones gets the public URL of documents table, downloads the document, stores it into temdocs, load it via PyPDF, and then it splits and embed it into ChromaDB, and Chroma is stored at this path. And these are all top 5 context based on the question I asked. And then after this context, here is the response. Let us, okay, so the status is completed, and we can move this. Let us go to the chat screen. In chat screen, we have this, and yep, the document is rules about classic Monopoly and all that thing. Let us create a new chat and ask it how to build a hotel. As soon as we send, the query is reached backend, and it is generating response. Yep. To build a hotel, player must have 4 houses, each property, and all those things. Hotels. What is, for example, how many players can play this game? I send this. Let us wait for the response. Once condition is met, the player may 2 to 8 players can play this game. Okay. So this can also generate response in code, and like basically this can be marked down, so we can have code and everything else here. And for now I am not using a fancy model because it costs. I am in free Gemini tier. Let me walk you through backend setup once. So in backend, I have something like this. Yep. So here is my workflow table, which is the main table, and we have ID, user ID, name, description, definition. Basically, definition is a JSON where all the definitions are stored, like which LLM model we are using, which embedding model, the query nodes, and everything, edges and all. These are stored in definition and created and updated at status. Now we create multiple chat sessions. For example, when we create a new chat, this is a chat session, and multiple messages can relate to a chat session, and multiple chat sessions can be related to a single workflow. This is what it is denoting. We have chat messages and chat session. Every chat message has a session ID, and when we query anything here, we query it or filter it via this session ID. And these are all the other sessions. Basically, the first message which user sends is the title of the session. So this is the title of the session, and then we have documents folder where basically each document is related to a single workflow. A workflow can have single document for now, and document is uploaded to the bucket, and the public URL is saved here. File name, status, and all those things are saved here. And this is all how it works. I was trying to use PG Vector, but it was giving some errors, so I did not use it. And let me walk you through the backend code once. Firstly, let us see the schema. This is all the schema for setting up the Supabase backend. And yep, we don't need this. I was trying to use it. We don't need this. This is the schema for backend. And let us go to the main file. This is the main file for the backend. And here we have all the configurations and everything. Now here we have different routers. This is fast API I'm using for backend, and for frontend I'm using Next.js. Now let us, this is workflow, sessions and messages are the main router. Let me walk you through one workflow router. It will have multiple requests: get request, post requests, delete, and execute. Execute is the request which is executed when we hit build workflow. So for example, this is execute request, and in execute request I return the response executing workflow and status pending immediately, and start a new function in a different thread via async IO. Firstly, I was trying to use fast API depends, fast API background worker, but it was giving some error. So I got with async IO, and basically we have inside app we have routes, we have clients where we store all the Supabase and Gemini clients, and then we have DAO layer. DAO layer is essential for accessing or interacting with database, and then we have schema. Schema basically have the schema or everything, and then we have services. Services are the main files where we write all the business logic. So for example, when we go through the any route, we instantiate a service, and then we call functions inside the service. For example, this is execute workflow, and this service then calls everything: get document by workflow, process and store document, chat session, and everything. And inside service we can use DAO layer to access everything or interact with database, and DAO layer is separated via documents or everything, like document service and everything. So yep, this is what it is. And for example, we go through workflow DAO, and workflow DAO we have, I'm using Supabase, not SQL, Alchemy, or everything. Now this is basically interacting with database, nothing much. And yep, this is the service. We can use different services in different files, and the main service file is Chroma service. Here we have all the functions. We have split document where we split chunks of the document, and then we have add to chroma. Add to chroma function basically chunks the document using this calculate chunk id function. And we also add a metadata workflow id in each chunk, so that while querying we can filter it via workflow id. And yep, then we store chunks into local chroma. And then this query rag function is the function which is running at each request which is being sent via the message by via the user. Then we have this chroma folder embedding function. I'm using embedding function from the Gemini. So this is the embedding function. And now we have the top k frequent context from the PDF, and we also apply the filter workflow id. And then we basically query chat with Google model, and this model is coming from the front end, and the embedding model and everything temperature is coming from front end. So then we try to get response from the LLM, and after the response we return it to the front end. So this is it. And in the near future, I am thinking of applying a search feature. For example, if the LLM does not find relevant details in the PDF context provided, it will search the internet and give result, and also mention the sources where it gathered the information from. And also we can include multiple PDFs in a single workflow, and all those features I have yet to implement the like, dislike, and the else other features. But yeah, this is the overview of the project, and yep, this was it. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments on how can I improve this more.